Hi and welcome to Danklord vs. Games. My name is Kevin and this is the first review I've ever done of any product ever. Without any further ado, let's get into it. After a brief cutscene, RiME instantly sets you off by having you question who you are and what you were doing stranded on a beach. You'll quickly realize that there's no real interface to look at, no inventory to manage, and no actual dialogue to pay attention to. With that being said, RiME is a journey heavily focused on the visual experience of the world you're trying to unearth, and the color seems to be carefully chosen to either bring in or fade objects out of the viewer's attention in a very artistic manner. The environment looks huge and almost manages to give you that Dark Souls vibe where you feel like you can track every structure you visited, and more importantly going to visit. However, this is sadly just a brief illusion that slowly changes into tighter spaces and claustrophobic environments. I never really felt like I got to connect with the current location until it changed into something completely different. RiME definitely gives you a variety of sceneries to experience, from lush tropics to sceneries heavily inspired by Egypt, not to mention structures completely submerged underwater. I never really felt like the variety was a strong point of the game as it kept sending me to a new place before I got to take the previous one in. The game really doesn't bring anything new to the table in the sense of exploration or puzzle games, and I feel like that's one of the main critiques that the game has received. But I think presentation is something that is very easy to overlook, and I feel like the game managed to present the puzzles in a way that felt fresh. Not only because it was done in a very beautiful way, but because I felt like I wanted to know more about the story. And that's coming from the type of person who always skips the cutscenes if possible. I couldn't really find any obvious connections between RiME and some other puzzle games that made me think I had done or seen it all before. Sometimes, however, I did find myself thinking that the puzzles simply got in my way of trying to answer who I was and why I was doing the things the game had made me do. The mystery was more enticing to me than the puzzles, and I think this is where the game might have suffered. If the puzzles aren't interesting, the story better damn sure be a masterpiece, and as I kept having questions pop into my head, I found myself with very little to no answers. Instead, I realized I was essentially creating my own theory as to what had happened and who I was, not to mention why there's a fox barking like a dog. Maybe it was the developer's intentions to have you make up the story for yourself as you go, and that is something I can appreciate in certain circumstances. In this case, I was hoping to get drip-fed a little bit more of the story the further I progressed. Some weaker parts of the game were unfortunately the exploration aspects of the game. I found no reason to go out of my way to find collectibles and hidden items, as it generally didn't feel rewarding at all. This naturally made RiME feel more linear than it had to be. If I had to choose to Google my way out of it, or be told by the game where to go, I'd prefer being told where to go, but for the time when I did choose to wander off, it simply led me to a dead end with a minor reward or nothing at all. In the end, I'm starting to assume that we're getting spoiled and expect too much from games these days. Instead of viewing a game for what it truly is, which is a projection of someone's art and vision, we mostly hope to find the game that is going to consume all our free time. Because there are other games out there that can do that for the same price, so it's very easy to compare. To be philosophical for a second, stop and think about this. When was the last time you admired a tree in Call of Duty? There's no time or reason to ever do so in a game that is so heavily focused on action, but in RiME, you have all the time in the world, quite literally. When it comes to endings, you really have to remember that no matter how much you'd like the fact to be true, the story is not really written by you, nor is it written for you. At least not in most cases. To try and sum it all up, I had a stress-free period of about 4 to 5 hours where I really didn't think about anything but the game itself, and that to me is priceless. I will definitely remember the visuals of the game. I love the soundtrack and I had a really good time. Thank you for watching and good night. Not really rewarding exploring, because that's all you get. And the music is so soothing right now. I mean, I went there and it was just like a little, like a rock, but it had like paint on it, and it was pretty and all. But I need more. I need more out of my life than just a pretty colored rock. Yeah.